Employee experience is how people show up at work. It's how they impact the organization and how they are impacted by the organization. Understanding employee experience is important because it's how we can understand the mood, morale, and motivation. It allows us to check not only how effective the workforce is in its current state, but what the trajectory is for the future of the organization, how to respond to opportunities or threats. One way to evaluate employee experience is through an employee experience survey. An employee experience survey, sometimes referred to as an EX survey, is a way of gathering quantitative and qualitative data from employees to help inform leaders about what is important for employees, where the pain points are, where there is room to grow, and what employees need to be effective and successful. EX surveys are also a way of letting employees know what leadership is interested in hearing about and, importantly, acting on. EX surveys gather data in strategically organized categories. They can help assess what resources are lacking, how engaged and committed employees are to their work, if there are risks and threats that leadership should be made aware of, and among a multitude of other possibilities, what would help employees' overall well-being, which could have a significant positive impact on the organization's effectiveness. EX surveys can also help organizations compare their effectiveness against their peers and competitors. Employee experience surveys give employees voice. They are a critical tool for leadership to hear the needs of employees. In-depth surveys like this are particularly important for large organizations where there may be acute power differentials, strict hierarchies, and a disparate employee population spread out over a vast area. Without employee experience surveys, it is extremely difficult or impossible for executive leaders to know or fully grasp the important issues employees are facing and learn about any ideas they might have for improving how the organization can serve its mission. Executive leadership tend to focus on strategic, high-level projects. One of the most effective tools for getting information to executive leaders from the tactical and operational level, where the work is getting done, is through EX surveys. Through an employee experience survey, a metric is set, and it sends a message to all employees what the organization as a whole values. The organization can then measure if they make improvements moving forward and by how much. The EX survey is only the first step. The data must then be analyzed and assessed to determine how to address the needs of employees so they can be effective in supporting the organization. When assessing data, leaders at the highest level should be mindful of themes across the enterprise. Doing so can help enterprise-wide efforts, where executive leadership can better determine what would be the most impactful issues to address, pool resources, capitalize on economies of scale, and avoid redundancies. Leaders should also work together to see where other leaders within the organization have already successfully resolved problems that their unit is currently facing. If cross-industry analysis is possible, leadership can even seek input from other institutions and organizations. Within the organization, however, high-level collaborative effort is critical for ensuring that efforts are in alignment with one another instead of in conflict. It should be expected that the data from employee experience surveys do not provide leaders with a full picture. Working with one another can help, but one of the best ways to get more clarity is through focus groups. A focus group is a small group of respondents who are reliable representatives of the whole team or organization, who can speak to and discuss prompts that will add clarity to the survey data. Typically, general format of these focus groups is a facilitated discussion or design thinking workshop, but experiences may vary. Ideally, focus groups should be assembled and facilitated by a third party. Coordinating such an effort internally assumes a psychological safety and willingness to be transparent that may not reflect reality. In these focus groups, a trained facilitator will ask open-ended, non-leading questions that will provide richer detail, context, and intent to the survey data. The reports that are the product of these focus groups will inform the action plans that are created by leadership and in some cases, these same focus groups. An action plan details what leaders will do to address concerns and opportunities brought to light by the results of the EX survey. It is the document that explicitly details the projects and tasks that will be executed in response to the high-impact issues determined by the EX survey analysis. Not responding with action to the results of the survey will most likely result in the survey doing more damage than good. Employees who invest their time and energy to provide useful information expect that some good will come out of it. If they find that nothing was done, they will feel there has been a breach of trust. An action plan allows leadership to address the concerns and opportunities voiced by the employees. It communicates that leadership values employees and signals what the organization as a community values. The key to a successful action plan is ensuring the plan is documented in a clear and unambiguous way. Among the many things you will need to detail clearly in your action plan are the following: the objective, a clear description of what you want to achieve and why, roles and responsibilities, from who is leading the initiative, who the contributors are, and who the subject matter experts are. And every one of these people will need to be part of this planning process. And never assume that anyone has the capacity to take on this strategic work. Actions and tasks. What are the specific jobs that need to get done to realize the objective? Again, this must be comprehensive and comprehensible. The time frame, from start to finish, with dates for every milestone and estimated work hours for every task. Critical to this process is determining the sequence of tasks. This is where a trained project manager can be especially useful. Budget, itemized lists for what everything will cost and where the money is coming from. This is also a good place to restate the return on investment. Metrics, determine how you will know if the implementation of this plan makes an impact and how you will measure success. Only after you have fully developed your action plan and communicated thoroughly with all stakeholders and adapted their input into the plan revisions will you be able to get to work. That's not to say your plan won't change along the way. It almost certainly will. But you want to do everything in your power to set yourselves up for success before you start executing the plan. Along the way, be sure to check frequently with the project team and stakeholders to see what changes need to be made, clarify any misunderstandings, and see if additional resources are needed to keep the plan on track. When you have fully executed the action plan, make sure you celebrate. Acknowledging the hard work that has gone into the plan and the benefits it will create for the organization is an important step. It's easy to lose sight of employee experience or dismiss its importance when we're focused on our current responsibilities or overwhelmed by a demanding job. But EX is how we improve and move forward. Neglecting this can have devastating effects on a workforce and your bottom line. When addressed with intention and sincerity, it can have a transformative effect. The key is to have an informed, leadership-driven approach and a genuine belief in the organization's mission.